join us.
Join us.
Join us for Azure Cosmos DB Conf 2023 on March 28th.
Streaming live along with exclusive on-demand sessions.
Learn about the latest and greatest of what's coming to Azure Cosmos DB.
And get a sneak peek at what members of the community are building.
You don't want to miss it.
Register with the link below.
We're excited to see you there.
My favorite thing about Azure Cosmos DB is it empowers developers to do more with less.
My favorite thing about Azure Cosmos DB is its ability to scale out to any size.
So I don't have to worry about spikes across my usage.
It's fully managed with automatic updates and patching.
You can work with both relational and non-relational workloads.
My favorite thing about Azure Cosmos DB is the 5 nines of availability that gives me peace of mind my apps will be up.
My favorite thing about Azure Cosmos DB is the backing of one of the most comprehensive SLAs in the industry.
Azure Cosmos DB is compatible with open source database like PostgreSQL, MongoDB, and Cassandra.
I don't have to set up replication on my own. It just works.
There are SDKs for different programming languages like C#, Java, Python, and more.
So join us at the link below.
See you at the Azure Cosmos DB Conference 2023.
We're excited to see you there.
I think we got it.
Hey there, that was fun to watch. How are you, everyone? Mark Brown here for Azure Cosmos DB Live TV, and hope you join us in, 26 days on March 28th, 2023 for the third Cosmos Conf. So I'm excited. Tara, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Mark?
Good. This is your first time on the show, I think, right?
Yes. Yeah. First episode.
Welcome. It's great to have you on. And I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about today. It's going to be my favorite new thing about Cosmos DB.
Mine too.
after we go GA with this thing. So yeah, welcome. Good to have you here. And you're going to talk to us today about partition merge. Is that right?
Yep. Correct.
Well, that's cool. Hey, I don't want to keep you waiting here. So I know you got a few slides and then you want to show us how we can take advantage of this thing or how to get started on it. So yeah, let's dive right in.
Awesome. Cool. So hi, everyone. It's great to be presenting here on Azure Cosmos DB Live TV today. I'm super excited to be doing a deep dive on this new feature we currently have previewed called Partition Merge. So this is a fairly new feature that we're very excited about as it was highly requested by many of you guys, many of our customers. And it's a pretty big feature for Cosmos DB that allows you to give your partitions more burst ability. So during the session, I'll be giving an overview of what this feature does, as well as outline some customer scenarios that motivated us to develop this feature for Cosmos DB. We'll also be taking some time to talk through how you can identify which of your containers can benefit from merge, and also do a short demo where I'll be walking you through how to do a merge simulation before deciding to enable this feature for yourself. At the end of the session, we'll also be going over the eligibility criteria for enabling this feature and spend some time talking through how you can run the eligibility checker that we have in the portal setup for all of you guys. Awesome. So at a brief overview, with partition merge, you can now reduce the number of physical partitions used for your container in place. So specifically, containers that are fragmented in throughput or storage can now have their physical partitions reworked. Fragmentation is a pretty big pain point for our users, and that means that there are not enough RUs to use per each partition in your container. So there are two customer scenarios that I'd like to highlight that can benefit from this new feature. The first scenario revolves around a customer that scales their RUs up and now realizes they don't need that many RUs and wants to scale back down without experiencing any fragmentation. The second scenario where merge could help a user is if you delete a lot of your data and that leaves you with plenty of unused and empty partitions. So let's take a closer look at a scenario where merge might help. So this is a customer that scales up too high and then tries to scale back down. And in this scenario, let's say you scale your collection up to 100K RUs momentarily. Perhaps you wanted to ingest a large amount of data without experiencing any throttles. So since Cosmos DB can only go up to 10K RUs per partition, you now have 10 partitions that each have 10K RUs. So once you put in all your data and it's over, you realize you actually don't need that many RUs for your application, and you want to go down back to your original throughput of 1,000 RUs. However, your number of physical partitions will always remain at 10 partitions, and your RUs will be equally distributed amongst these 10 partitions. So this basically means that now you have 10 partitions, each with only 100 RUs, and you're probably very likely to experience a high rate of throttling, which isn't ideal.
Yeah, you can't do much with 100 RU, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do 100 point reads a second, but, queries take a lot of, fair amount of throughput, or they can. And of course, if you've got multiple users and have, somewhat high concurrency, you can't really do much with 100 RU. You're going to get basically rate limited for nearly everything you're doing there, right?
Yeah, and it's a pretty hard concept for people to wrap their heads around, because it's not actually known how many partitions you currently have. So without merge, that's definitely a problem that we were seeing. So it's cool that now with merge, for this scenario specifically, the user would be able to lower their 10 partitions into just one partition with their overall 1,000 desired RUs.
And you're right about this was a big pain point for some customers, particularly when they're doing large ingestion. It's almost like, hey, all right, ready to go into production. I'm going to ingest a bunch of data, and then we're going to get started. And then they go and do that, and then they're like, oh wait, this is terrible.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's not a good experience to get started in your production workload with the throughput fragmentation there. And prior to this, really the only choice people had was to copy their data and do another collection, basically from there. So not a great experience. And I know customers are going to be pretty excited about the ability to be able to basically do that merge operation after they do ingestion, or like what you're saying, if they TTL off a bunch of data. So
yeah, correct.
Very, very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, super good use case. I'm really excited for this to grow and for having people to use this. So as you can see here, we go from 10 partitions, each with 100 RUs. And then with merge, we can now reduce the partition size to just one partition with 1,000 RUs. And you might even realize, okay, I have 1,000 RUs on this one partition, but I don't actually even need 1,000 RU to go up to 1,000 RUs. And that might lead you to scale back down and lower some costs as well.
Yeah, right. You could go even further, I guess, right? I mean, whatever the amount of data you've got, that's going to be your bottom limit, or either that or the 400 RU. That's the minimum as well. So
right. Yeah, exactly. Cool. So now you might be wondering, how do I check whether merge is a good fit for me? And so we recommend merge to customers with containers that meet both of these conditions. So condition 1 is when your current RUs per physical partition is less than 3,000 RUs. And this usually occurs, as we mentioned before, when you go up on your RU amount and then you want to go back down because you realize you don't actually need that much. Condition 2 is when your current average storage in GB per physical partition is less than 20 GB. And that might happen if you delete a large volume of your data in your workload. So there's actually a really easy way to determine whether your workload fits in these conditions, and you can analyze it yourself in the portal. So if you go to our metrics tab on the right-hand side, you can select the physical partition throughput metric, filter to your database and container, and then apply splitting by physical partition ID. So in this example here, we have an autoscale container with 5,000 RUs provisioned and has 5 physical partitions with 1,000 RUs each. So as you can see, this fits criteria number 1, which we said if your current physical partition throughput is less than 3,000 RUs. And so for condition 2, you can also determine your average storage per physical partition the same way by changing that metric to physical partition size instead. So in this case, each partition, as you can see, is quite under the 20 GB condition. So this container actually fits both conditions 1 and 2, and our container can potentially benefit from merging partitions. So to reiterate, those two conditions were the first one is if your current throughput partition is less than 3,000, and if your average storage per partition is under 20 GB.
Got it. I mean, your max storage for physical partition is 50 gig,
50,
right?
correct, yeah.
Right. So you want to make sure you got stuff certainly less than that in there. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So today it's actually really easy to get merge enabled on your account. If you head to the features pane in the portal, all you really need to do is toggle the partition merge feature on, and then a self-service blade will pop up where you can ensure that you'd really like to enable merge and also check your eligibility. And the good news is you can see whether merge will actually benefit you without actually performing the merge operation, which might take up to 6 to 8 hours. So we're going to do a demo of that now. So let me get out of this presentation.
Can I ask a question while you're setting that up?
Yeah.
So a question from Hassan here. It sounds like this is a CPU heavy process. Are you planning to have a charge for this operation? Oh, like, are we charging RU to do the merge?
So we're not, which is really great. This is pretty much all you have to do is invoke it on your end, and then Cosmos DB takes care of it on the back end. So there's actually no interference with your workload and no additional RU charge.
Oh, that's good. So, and that's important, obviously, as well as zero downtime while this thing is happening, and no cost, no RU charge in there as well. So, well, this is very nice. I like this. Is like a basically free feature that solves a really big pain point for customers.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Cool.
Oh, I like this. I love this. This is a new docs experience I'm seeing here. So this is real live Cloud Shell embedded within our docs?
Yeah, that's correct.
Wow, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm kind of liking this.
Yeah, it's a really cool feature. If you want to learn more about merge, we have our new docs live right now.
Yeah, I can put that up. Whoops, let me put that up here. I'll put that up while you're typing in stuff here. So, so you're gonna run a test. Oh, okay. So you're gonna do you're gonna do it with the what if in here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so basically we have this what if flag, which you can access from the docs itself. And so with these scripts that we have here in our docs, you can run this on our Cloud Shell, and you can actually see for your current container, for whatever container or database you want to run this on, how merge, if merge will actually benefit your container. So in this case, what we're going to run it on is I have this container here with 50,000 RUs right now. And so here, if I open the Cloud Shell, and I'm going to just copy this from here, and I want to install this module. And please note that like you cannot actually run the what if you don't have this feature enabled. So you want to go here into the features pane, and you want to turn merge on. So as you can see here, merge is enabled on my account, so I'm able to run this. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the operation has started. It just means that it's now enabled on my account.
Got it. So feature flag for the feature itself, so that you can actually run a command like what you just had.
Yeah, correct.
And I get this is a preview feature, so you have to install the preview Azure CLI module that's going to allow for this in the Cloud Shell, because Cloud Shell doesn't ship with preview stuff. And then you can start running things in here. Okay,
cool.
Getting it.
Yeah, so then from here, you want to go ahead and copy and put in your account credentials. I already have that pre-populated, so I'm just going to go back and find it. All right, here we have it for mine. And then we want to run the what if operation. So here you want to run this line, invoke Azure Cosmos DB SQL container merge. And note that we have what if is true, so it's not actually going to run the operation right now. It's just going to run a simulation. So this is going to take probably like a minute or so to run. So if there's any other questions, we can go ahead.
Well, I got questions. I mean, I always have questions. Some of them are relevant. Oh, now I forgot what the question I was going to ask. Oh, does the length of time this thing take dependent on the size of the container?
Yeah,
The number of
correct.
participants. It does.
Yeah. So are you asking for the what if flag or for?
Well, either. Both what if and the actual merge itself. I'm guessing the merge itself is definitely dependent on the number of partitions you have. But what about this what if thing?
Yeah, the what if thing is probably, it doesn't take too long dependent. I've run this on a container with lots of data and it's taken maybe like less than 2 minutes.
Okay.
But for the actual merge operation, yeah, it would take like a minimum of 6 to 8 hours. And then from there, depending on how much storage you have in your containers, it can take longer.
Okay.
So here we're seeing that with the container that I ran it on, it took around like a minute or so. And we have 5 physical partitions, and these are their storage in KB for each of these partitions. So as you can see, we start with 5 partitions, and this is for a container that has 50,000 RUs. So that makes sense because each partition has 10K RUs. But let's say we want to scale down and we actually realize we don't need 50,000 RUs for this account. And we want to go down to, let's say, 5,000. So I'm going to save that.
That'll take a moment, I'm sure. I guess the other question. So I see this is called the invoke command. So this is not, I guess you have to use a script to do this, right? You have to use PowerShell or CLI. Is there a CLI option for this thing now in preview, or is it just PowerShell?
Yeah, you can do it on CLI, but you can't run the simulation on CLI as of now. So you can only run the simulation, the what if command on PowerShell, but the what if command is in the works for the CLI.
Oh, okay. It's coming.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay. Well, that's good. I like CLI.
And you can also run from, I believe, you can do, you can run these scripts from the documentation on CLI as well. You just can't do the what if command.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. And then, well, of course, this is a script. This is a post operation, I'm guessing. So I cannot do a template with this.
Correct. Yeah.
So I got to use a script. Okay. Well, that's fine too. Yeah. All right. So hold on. I think I see a new question here, maybe. Oh, it's from Hassan again here. So can we execute a partition merge from the REST API or SDKs in future versions? REST API, I guess it depends. This is a control plane operation, I'm guessing. So if it was going against our resource provider REST API, the answer would be yes. And since our REST API for our control plane has SDKs built around it, that would be yes. What about data plane? I'm guessing he is referring to using, say, our .NET data plane SDK. Do you know if that is coming potentially?
So I'm not quite sure. I can follow up with that question. But yeah, when we talk about eligibility criteria, there is some criteria in terms of like what SDK you need to be on. But in terms of executing the merge, right now it would just be through the
using the PowerShell and CLI.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I think, increasingly we're trying to keep control plane and data plane operations somewhat separate, although the history of the service is that basically everything was basically in our data plane SDKs to creating databases and containers and changing throughput and defining indexes and all that stuff. So so it wouldn't surprise me at some level, but in some ways this seems like a very control plane type of operation. So I don't know if they would necessarily do that. So okay, cool.
Yeah.
Anything?
Yeah. So going back to the demo, when we scale down to 5,000 RUs now. So let's just try running our what if to see if merge would help us in any way now that we've scaled down. So I'm going to run this again. And so just to reiterate, we currently have 5 partitions, but let's see that now that we've scaled down, if merge lowers the number of partitions we have.
You mentioned earlier that for the eligibility there was SDK requirements. Can you kind of explain that?
Yeah, Yeah, so yeah, I'll be going over the eligibility checker after this, but for now, right now, Merge currently supports the .NET SDK version 3, as well as MongoDB API users on version 3.6 or higher. We're currently in the works for allowing support for future SDK, all the other SDKs that Cosmos DB provides as well. But yeah, since it is a preview feature, currently we only offer support for those two, but we're hoping that this reaches out and branches out to all the other SDK versions. And we can talk about how to check whether you're eligible for Merge.
Got it. Is it, I'm guessing technically behind the scenes, the SDK update is probably because physical partitions are being moved around behind the scenes. And I'm guessing it's to make sure that the SDK keeps a map of all the physical partition
Correct.
addresses and partition key ranges. I'm guessing that's part of it, is because you're changing it. You need a way to be able to have the SDK refresh that in a way that maybe it doesn't now. So, or maybe something that just signals to the SDK, hey, grab all the new partition key ranges and the addresses in there. So that makes sense. Yeah, because you wouldn't want to end up with like a gone exception or something like that, which I know can happen. Okay. Oh, so you've got your result back here. So one merge partition 0, so down to one physical partition.
Right.
And
yeah.
You got 14 mega data, which is, I guess, all of those other 5 partitions all added up, right?
So we went basically from 5 partitions to 1 partition with this feature, which is pretty cool. If you ask me, I think this is definitely helps Cosmos DB, and it also helps the user have better performance.
I agree. I mean, it's good for us because there's less physical partitions being whatever wasted.
Yeah, correct.
But for the customer themselves, now they can scale it down to as small as they want to, and they get all the benefits out of that. Better usage of throughput, better performance, lower cost, all that stuff. So, yeah, great stuff.
Win-win. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, now I'll spend some time. We can just talk through the eligibility criteria. Sure. So as I mentioned before, we currently have support planned for other SDKs and for the following features. So multi-region, write accounts, point-in-time restore, customer managed keys, analytical store, and shared throughput. But today, if users would like to enable Merge, they must be using the API for NoSQL on the .NET SDK version 3.27 or higher, or MongoDB with version 3.6 or higher.
So that's support for right now in preview. So multi-region writes, point in time, CMK, analytical store, and shared throughput. So we support Merge for all those things right now, or it's coming?
We will be in the future. Right now, we don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is a really easy way though to check whether you're eligible or not, or what you need to do to become eligible. So if you basically go to our diagnose and solve problems in the portal and then hit throughput and scaling, and then from there, if you add in the tell us more about the problem you are experiencing, if you put partition merge and then run the checker, it'll basically tell you whether you've passed each criteria and all the different criterias that we're checking for you to run merge.
So that little tiny blue button there is going to run the checker for me. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yep.
There's an eye chart of eligibility requirements there I'm seeing. So
yeah,
I'll have to zoom that page up.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Now I can see it. Okay.
Yeah,
so it actually shows the results right there on the page. All right. Very cool.
Yeah. So in this case, this user needs to update their .NET SDK version.
Got it. Right. And I'm guessing Java SDK will also be coming very, very soon.
Yes, very, very soon.
Okay. Yeah. See, Java friends, we got you covered. So, or will soon. So, all right. Oh, that's cool. Right on. I'm really excited by this. I'm going to go and ingest a whole ton of data and then run this thing and watch it do its thing. So
yeah, it's pretty fun activity. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I had planned. So happy to take any other questions we might have.
I think that's it from folks. Let's see. Small Fluffy Rodent here says, "Hey, missed the first 10 minutes. Any way to rewind?" It's a live show, but you can watch on demand after here. Another comment here. PowerShell could nice to be done via PS function. Sure, you could do that I'm guessing they're saying like an Azure function there. No other questions that I'm seeing on here. Let me put up that docs page here so people can learn more from this page here. And that's up on our docs. And then they just need to go to the preview or the features tab in the portal and sign up for that. And that's automatic, right? They don't have to wait for us to approve them. Does that just get auto approved?
Yeah, it's auto approval.
Okay. And then run the checker. So when they do that and submit it, does that actually send them to the eligibility page from there? Is that how that works?
Yeah, so running the checker on the diagnose and solve problems pane, they can run the checker, and then if they pass all the criteria, there's an enable feature button there as well.
Oh, okay. So there's two ways they could go in. They can enable it in the feature tab, or go to the diagnose and troubleshoot, and then run the checker, enable the feature flag from there, and then they can go to this docs page that you've got, and then go and copy and paste those PowerShell commands in
exactly.
there. So okay, this is very, very cool. I've got to tell you, been a long time. We've been waiting for this. I think I'm really excited. Another question here from Hassan. He's really excited, I can tell as well. How does re-indexing work with partition merge? Oh, that's an interesting question.
That is, yeah.
I mean, I guess it would just, it just go along with the storage, right? Like the indexes are stored with the data itself. So those would just get moved right alongside the data as that data got merged onto a single partition, I'm guessing. So, but I don't know. I don't think it would trigger. That's a good question to find out. Like, would it re-index? Would it trigger a re-indexing on there? Do you know by chance?
I can definitely follow up. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but from what I assume, once the partition layout changes, then I assume that there would be another re-indexing that's triggered, but I will follow up with that question as well.
Yeah. I could see it going either way. You're just basically moving bits at some level, at a storage level there. So I don't know if re-indexing would necessarily be needed, but I could see how it might. So yeah, we'll get back to you, Hassan.
Yeah.
You know where to find me.
But again, no additional charge or anything for the merge operations.
Yeah, that's very cool. And of course, they're going to wait. If I run that PowerShell thing, that command, does it tell me a status, like how long I should have to wait? Or can I keep running it or do something else that's going to tell me how long I need to wait?
Yeah, so you can actually monitor your merge operation from the monitor tab in the portal itself as well. So there is just one bug on there that we are currently in the process of fixing, but it should be able to give you like an operation progress status bar type of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Comment here from a viewer: index is stored at the physical partition level, so of course index rebuild. Well, I don't know about a course. This is the thing: is it's just storage at some level, right? So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. All right. Well, is that it for everything?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah, happy to reach out for any questions that users might have later on. Very excited for this feature. We also have an Azure Advisor notification that's going to come out pretty soon. So if you have 100 collections, for example, and you want to see which ones of these could benefit from merge, keep an eye out in your advisor notifications to see if merge pops up there as well.
Oh, good. So they can just go to the portal, and then those little advisor toasts that pop up at the top there, they may see one in there. Oh, that's nice. So we're going to go and kind of analyze people's collections and say, hey, you might benefit from running partition merge here.
Yeah, exactly. And the main way we do that, if you'd like to do it yourself as well, is just looking, are any of these people's partitions under 3,000, and if their storage is under 20 GB. Okay.
Yeah. So simple to figure out if people want to do it themselves, or just wait and we'll tell you whether or not you want to run it. So, all right. Well, very cool. Well, hey, Tara, congratulations. You've made it through your very first Cosmos DB live TV episode. How did it go? You feel
It
good?
was good. Yeah, this is awesome. love having that interaction with users firsthand, and looking forward to doing more of these as well.
We'll definitely have you back. Maybe bring you back on when we go GA and we've got all that other SDK support, or maybe some other cool stuff.
Yeah,
comes before we ship there. So, hey, folks, go give it a try. Right, it's in preview now. I guess I know this is a weird question. Should people feel comfortable just running this on their production workloads, or are we?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
I would say this is definitely a full-fledged feature for the SDKs that we support. So don't hesitate. Hopefully there will not be any hiccups, but I can guarantee you, our engineers have worked very hard on this, and it is a fully fledged feature out there right now.
Okay, so we're saying this is GA quality, even though it's got a preview tag on it, right?
Yes.
Okay. That sounds awesome. I like hearing that, right? So good stuff. So, well, hey, thanks, Tara, for coming on. Hold on, I see one more comment here. Oh, yeah, one of our viewers there. Thanks, Tara.
You're welcome.
So everybody's so nice around here. It's very cool. So, hey, folks, thanks for joining us this week. Just some quick announcements. Hey, come join our Cosmos DB user group. New meetup every month with exciting guests and topics. Join us on our meetup.com page, aka ms/CosmosDB user group. I'm not quite sure what episode this is. We're 70 something. We've been doing this for, it's been almost 3 years, I think. Actually, maybe, I don't know if it's that long. It's a long time. It's 70 episodes, 70 plus episodes. So if you enjoyed this episode, hey, there's 70 something more episodes you can go check out. Come watch us on aka ms/CosmosDB live TV. That's it for us this week. Hold on, I see one more. Oh, there's Hassan. He's saying, thank you, great presentation. See, so much love around here. It's a great community. I love these folks. So, all right. Thanks, Tara, for coming. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.